right, we'll go ahead and get started. It's 5:30, and I would like to welcome everyone this evening to our regular monthly board meeting for May. And at this time, if everyone would please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. At this time, would everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Board members, we are down now to approving our agenda. Are there any additions or corrections to our agenda tonight? If not, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion.
I have a motion by Ms. Bard, second by Mr. Gilmore. All in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. We're down now to our recognitions with Ms. Embry.
Good evening, you tired staff that survived this day. Oh, we have got some outstanding teachers who have not only survived today, but have done some exceptional work this last school year. They were chosen, so I'm going to tell you about them being chosen. We're among royalty. Madisonville Community College, together with Murray State University, have named the 2024 Excellence in Teaching Award recipients. The purpose of this award is to recognize quality teaching in schools and to strengthen the field of education. 3 outstanding individuals from our district were nominated and have been named. So as I call your name, if you will come up, I have a framed certificate for you. I know they also were invited and attended a reception at Madisonville Community College back in April and received a little plaque as well, I believe. I saw pictures. So I'm going to call your name, and if you'll come up, and Ms. Orr, if you wouldn't mind to give that to them. And I think I'll just go ahead, I just have 3 tonight, so I'll just do the picture right there. That's okay. That's great. All right. So our first recipient from Muhlenberg South Elementary, representing the elementary school level, is Miss Jessica Viven. Jessica might be known as a banana. I've seen pictures earlier today, but she looks fabulous now. That's perfect. Thank you.
Good job.
Representing the middle school level, Miss Dana Bruce from Muhlenberg South Middle School. And Miss Bruce was sweating with the parent line this afternoon, so she was fabulous now. Yes, thank you.
Good job.
It was slow coming back up, sorry. I know. And then representing the high school is Miss Jennifer Wright from Muhlenberg County High School. And Jennifer, I don't have anything funny on you today, so if you did
Today's my last day.
We're all gonna get a super clap here. That's exciting.
Yes,
Like
it is.
really last.
After how long?
All right,
29 and a half years.
Wow, thank you.
Oh, wow.
27 here in the county.
here we go. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Congratulations. That is all for recognitions tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you 3 recipients, I just want to make it known you're welcome to stay for this exciting board meeting, or you may leave now. Okay?
There you go. See ya.
Someday they will stay, and I'm going to go give them a prize.
That's why they're rewarded.
Smarter.
was like,
All right,
this is.
we'll move down now to our treasurer's report.
How to do?
Yeah, here you go.
Find it. All right. Chairman Rager, board members, tonight I bring you the financials as of April 30th, 2024. Revenues, it is already doing, goodness gracious. I thought I pulled that off of there, I'm sorry. Well, the monthly receipts, the beginning balance is at 41.669 million, and it is down by 789,000. Our monthly receipts are at 3.53 million, and that's up 607,000 from last month, and up 250,000 from the same period last year. Our SEEK is up 182,000, federal is up 98, state is up 122,000, taxes are up 242,000, other income is down 40,000, food service is up 6,000, and daycare is down 2,000. Expenditures. Our accounts payable was 991,000 in the month of April. That is down 710,000 compared to the same period last year. The significant bills in April were Old National Wealth Management of 55,971 and Poe Chevrolet for 62,990. Payroll is at 2.899 million, and that's down 71,000 versus April of 23. For total expenses about 3.89 million. Further breakdown, fixed and mix expenses 523,000, variable expenses are 338,000, and utilities are 117,000. And the utilities have been holding true for the last few months, so they're doing very well, actually. And I'll show you the tentative budget, but we plan to have pretty much flat, on the energy, so that's still a good thing. So the ledger balance is 41.3 million, bank balance of 31.1 million, outstanding checks of 825,000 for cash of 30.26 million. Further breakdown of the April cash balance. General fund is 25.6 million, that's down 2.3 million in the previous month. And that's really just based on fund transfer. Fund 2 is up 216,000 for funds that were received. Construction is up 1.7 million, and that's really from that, is reflective of that fund transfer. Debt service is down 56,000. Food service is up 78,000. Daycare is up about 3,000. Extended financial picture, cash flow needs through September 2024 will be about 32.7 million. Are there any questions?
Any questions? If not, I need a motion to approve the treasurer's report. A motion by Mr. Bowers, second by Mr. Gilmar. All in favor of approving the treasurer's report, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And down to payment of bills and salaries.
Chairman Rager. For the month of May, board bills bring $222,813.21. The significant expense on those is for Trifera of $189,840. And that's Chromebooks, that's what I thought. Okay, that's for Chromebooks. I'm making sure. Let's check. Are there any questions?
What was that for?
Excuse me?
Okay.
Chromebooks, yes, sorry.
I need a motion to approve payments of bills and salaries. Motion by Mr. Gilmar. Second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of paying bills and salaries, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hear none?
Thank you.
Thank you. And public participation?
Yeah, just-
None? Okay. All right, so we'll move down now to our administrative report, and our personnel actions were given to us, and the report will be placed in our minutes, and then I'll turn this over to Ms. Orr for her presentation.
So I'm going to move into Bremen's presentation. Mr. Sharp, when I was with him this morning, was not feeling well. It was very obvious at the award ceremony. And so when he reached out to me, he said he could tough it out. And I said, no, you send me your slides and I will share your information. It's not Google Slides, I don't know how to use it. Thank you. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm going to read just what he sent, okay? So, I hate to read from my screen, but that's what I'm going to need to do. Slide number 1, we started clubs during the school year. Students were able to pick a club to be in for a 3-month rotation. Students enjoyed everything from a pet club to a tool club. And it looks like this is Empowered Learner Clubs. Or maybe that's the name for all of them. That's it. Yes, because here's another. Boys to Gentlemen Club. 4th and 5th grade boys were able to meet monthly to learn lessons about everything from respect, proper dress, tools, how to use manners, and then how to use those basic tools. Girls and Pearls. 4th and 5th grade girls met monthly to learn about positive self-image, future planning, and manners. This is the culture blueprint that the Bremen staff have been working on. We developed this collaboratively as a staff, student body, and their families. Our new motto is "We are Bremen Strong," and this blueprint guides our decision-making process. We have a think sheet for students to work through when there are discipline issues that have this blueprint on it, so they kind of talk through the situations. Our Energy Eagles After School Club just won Kentucky Elementary School of the Year. Their project was supplies for homeless in our community. Daisy Dog. Our SLP is a licensed pet therapist, and Daisy has been certified to be in schools. Our students love Daisy. Daisy is also Mr. Sharp's favorite. Junior Beta. Our Junior Beta Club is made up of 4th and 5th grade students. They are very active and have raised lots of funds for things like the Backpack Food Program, Humane Society, and their family resource. 3rd and 5th grade math and spelling competition. Our 3rd grade won 1st place and our 5th grade won 3rd in math. We are very proud of their hard work as well as their teachers' hard work. This is showcasing their iReady data. The reading results falls only 24% on grade level. Oh, in the fall, excuse me. 24% in the fall were on grade level, and spring was 63%. Wow. This shows their math. In the fall, only 15% were on grade level. In the spring, 49%. So very proud of both of those numbers. And I was telling Ms. Bard whenever I was at the awards program today, they were recognizing students with typical growth and stretch growth. So those kids who were just making just what you would expect in that grade level, but then those who had pushed a little bit further. So love the growth recognition. Celebration of Learning Nights. We had one in the fall and one in the spring. They were absolutely our best family nights. We even tagged a family resource family night on the one in the spring. We had almost 90% turnout school-wide, which is phenomenal. Wow. Yeah, it's a great number. Love this in their courtyard. They've used some Title I funds to purchase some flexible seating. Pictured is our courtyard where students can be outside, but they're inside, like they're in the perimeter of the building, but on the outside. And Then he also noted that one of their teachers has no desks in her room at all. And that is a kindergarten classroom. And those kids know, I mean, like, it's amazing to watch. They know exactly what they're supposed to be doing, when and where, and it's an amazing environment. Okay, let's see. Go.
My name is Tate Mercer, and this is my defensive line. My name is Tate Mercer, and I'm 11 years old. My hobbies are hunting, fishing, sports like baseball, basketball, and riding. At school, I'm involved in junior beta club, volleyball club, SCA, and animal activity. I'm a member of First Baptist Church, which is and I was saved on July 9th, 2020, and was baptized at my church. I'm involved in community service projects like preparing snack lunches for those in need. I live in South Carrollton, Kentucky, with my mom, sister, dad, and 2 dogs, Hershey and Hunter. And my strengths. My strengths are school, baseball, basketball, and I'm very responsible. I'm a rule follower, and I'm dependable. You can always depend that I am a rule follower and know that I'm going to do the right thing, knowing that I can. I'm kind to everybody that I know. I'm a hard worker. I'm going to work my best at everything I do. And I'm a strong reader. That is a picture of me being a hard worker and dependable. That is a picture of me doing work for my Better Together Club, where we're planting plants in our courtyard here. So what is the purpose of my defensive learning? The purpose of my defensive learning is to show that I'm capable of being prepared for all the things involved in the future. With this slideshow, I'm demonstrating that I'm an effective collaborator, creative problem solver, engaged citizen, empowered learner, and skilled communicator. My defensive learning will also prepare me for future speeches, understanding the profile of the learner expectations, and prepare me to graduate high school. This picture is a picture of me giving my base speech, being a skilled communicator, letting the people know there what we're doing and how it happened.
So that was just a small clip. You can see it's about almost 10 minutes long, so we won't go through all of it. But we have a whole collection of these from different grade levels that would love to share with you all. So we'll put it in your eyes so you all can see
I was
that.
invited to one of them as a board member.
Yeah?
At middle school, North Middle. When was it, around last 2 weeks ago? Yeah, I think, yeah, he done a great job.
Great experience.
Yes, he
for all
was
of us.
very confident.
And I'm going to go a little bit further into our defensive learning work when I finish with Freeman's section. I think that's it, but let me make sure. Yeah. So then thank you for your support of our school this year. So that's Freeman's presentation. And again, he did apologize that he was on here. He was really sad that he couldn't be here for that. We hope he feels better. Okay. Oh, here it is, this one. I had another presentation that I was going to show, like a defensive learning, but since that was in Bremen's, I figured I would just show that one instead. Where is it again?
Right there.
Okay. So then, like I said, this is a little bit about our defenses of learning, just kind of showing some reflection. One thing I want to note here, I feel like every one of the students that we got to see and that did present their defensive learning took this seriously. Like this young lady dressed to impress, for sure. And you could tell that they were proud of the work that they were able to showcase during these. And then this picture is showing that each of our schools pulled in some staff members. Some of the schools were able to pull in some community members, parents, and you know, that's one thing we've talked about, you know, beefing that up a little bit next year. So the end of April, our design team all came together with Katie Martin with Learner Centered Collaborative, and we kind of they did a reflection. So these are some of the things that they felt like worked this first year with the profile and the groups that were able to provide their defenses. So this is just some information. The families being involved. I did see a lot of this where the family nights, the students were able to present their defenses to their parents at those family nights, which is great. It gives them practice, number one, but then also their parents get to see what they're doing and be proud as well. One thing to note, Longest, they did an amazing job of making sure every staff member was able to see some of the defenses from your custodians, your cafeteria, to assistants and office workers. Everybody got to see it and see what the work is all about. Like that. The next part of their reflection is what would you do differently? And the reason we kind of did some prototypes this year was to be able to figure out what do we need to do when we make this full scale, which that's the plan next year. That grades 3, 5, 8, and 12. All students in those grades will do a defensive learning. So this group was able to determine what are some things to do differently. And if you'll notice, asking more parent help, parent letter, kind of letting the parents know what these competencies are about. And then the top one is the high school. And if you'll notice, more emphasis on professional dress. So maybe they didn't quite, understand the concept there. So these are some of the things that they are going to share with their staff when they're back in their building, so everybody can kind of think, okay, here's some things we want to fix, and what do we need to do?
Just a question, was the dress discussed ahead of time and just didn't click, or is it something we just need to?
Yeah, I don't know how much of an emphasis was put on that. This time it was really more about kind of the process.
Right.
So I believe next year that's kind of where that comment came from. Now that we've got the process down pat, now let's actually work on.
Dressing them up.
Yeah, I thought I got to do a couple of hours and I loved it, and I thought of that too, because some did and then some,
Yes.
just another school day.
Yes. So I think it was really, this year was more about
Yeah.
the process.
Right,
So
figuring
next
it out.
year,
Totally get that.
of actually really focusing on that some more. And then I included these two slides because I love, this is kind of a compilation really of what they determined from this work. I love that, and I heard this often. We learned a lot about our students, things that they're doing outside of school that maybe we didn't know. Some of their passions, their things that they're excited about. And then this one, levels the playing field for all students to shine. And these students were so proud when they finished that and accomplished that. Again, building relationships. I love that the teachers are recognizing, we've got to teach in different ways if we really want our kids to work on being empowered learners, collaborators, and such. And then starting out the beginning of the year, kind of being prepared and being ready for all of the students to do these. And this is, that last one was elementary, so all the elementary teachers put their comments on there, and this was middle and high school. So love that the students felt accomplished, built those relationships, and then, some things, front load preparation, in their junior year. So kind of helping those students get ready and know what evidence, they need to gather and what they're going to do with that in the long run. All right, so then the next thing I'm going to turn over is some of our inclusive excellence work that Mr. Perkins is going to share with you, some things that we've been doing over the last year and a half.
Thank you. So, Ms. Orr wanted me to give kind of an overview, like she's already presented to you all and to our group, on some of the work we've been doing regarding unwanted student behaviors in our schools. And as serious as that is, I don't want to get too serious tonight with you as we get into that, so I would like to just start out by asking our administrators to give us some feedback with a nod or a wave. If I say, do you think we've seen an increase in unwanted student behaviors since COVID? Yeah. Something happened during COVID that has changed student behaviors in our schools across the country. It's everywhere when we talk. And it's not like it's critically out of control and, I don't want to send the wrong picture, but we are seeing an increase in some intense behaviors, especially with some of our youngest kids. And we really hadn't seen that in the past, am I right? It's more of our K1s and second graders who are really having a hard time understanding what appropriate behavior is and kind of knowing what responses they're going to get from their peers. And, when we talk to them and work with them and ask them why they're doing what they're doing, a lot of times they just don't even know. They're like, I don't know why I'm doing that. So we know it's a disruption, and we know it's something that we know that we need to address head on. And that's what we're doing. So some of the things that we have looked at regarding student behavior have begun with the culture and climate audit that we had last year. If you recall, Dr. Roger Cleveland, who's state known for his work in equity and inclusion and that type of work, came in with his team and they did multiple surveys of our staff and our students, and they were observing in our schools. And from that work, they gave us plenty of commendations. And a majority of what I want to talk to you about is really good. I mean, we have a great school system with good kids and great teachers who are caring. At the same time, we do have some things we need to address. And the first thing was to try to determine what those are. So working from that work and continuing with Dr. Cleveland, who gives us feedback and advice, and I'm in contact with him, letting him know kind of what's happening in our district. He has guided us to come up with some of the next steps. So this year, the first thing we did was we created a behavior team for the district. That's a certified behavior coach and 5 classified assistants, one of each who is in each of our elementary schools. And what they're doing is they're kind of figuring it out as they go, but they're working with some of our highest need kids to help teach replacement behaviors, help give classroom breaks. We're finding that getting a child and taking them for a little walk, a little mental break is a really good thing for some of our kids that really need it. Also, the work we're doing with Profile of a Learner is really changing some of how we deliver our instruction in classrooms. Going from a traditional sit, wait, listen kind of model, which we know is a long time ago, to where kids are engaged in their learning, they're being able to choose some of what they want to learn, and so that there's 2 pieces to that as well. So you know about the behavior team. Next year, the middle school has decided to use one of their allocated positions to create a pass coach, which will serve in some of the same manner. It'll be a certified staff member who all day long is working with kids who exhibit high need behaviors, who just really need some extra attention is a way to start at it, and for them to have a trusted adult that they know they can talk to if they're having issues that they need to try to get to. We trained all of our administrators on February 21st on something that is very important, and that is the difference between bullying and harassment, getting into some of the serious stuff. And we are taking head on some of the difficult conversations that go around dealing with some of these targeted behaviors where kids are singling other students out because of any of the protected classes that define harassment. Now, these are not conversations that anyone wants to have with kids or parents, to be honest with you. And they're very tough. And I'm saying that because I commend our administrators who have all agreed to do the hard work and to be consistent across the district in every single one of our schools to handle and document harassment and follow through with the disciplinary actions that are quite severe. I'm not going to get into all that with y'all tonight, but they are very strict. So that's a big step. And the documentation component that goes along with that is a lot of work. And we're asking our administrators to do more and more as we are addressing behaviors that we have to, because we really have to have a sense of where are we and is it making an impact when we're trying to address them. Recently, our local NAACP members, led by Dr. Brittany and myself, met with groups of students at each of our schools. And there were no administrators there. It was the school counselor, myself, and our group. And we just had open conversations about, do you feel safe in school? Are there kids that pick on you? Do you know what to do if that happens? What happens when you tell an adult in the building? Is it followed up on? And I'll go over some of the results that we see there towards the end. And what we're doing is we're developing inclusive excellence teams that are going to involve our students. This is not a one-time event. We're going to continue to meet with our students over time with other groups from our community so that they can see and hear and be able to address rumors or things that they may hear outside of the schools firsthand. They can say, no, I was in there. We know that this is happening. And it gets our community members involved with what we're talking about now so that they can understand that we're doing a lot in order to try to make our schools the best that they can be. So, what we are looking at next is Dr. Cleveland, once again, Dr. Roger Cleveland, will be conducting a training on August 15th with all of our administrators. We'll be talking about cultural bias and issues for schools to be aware of right now and how to prepare for addressing some of the things that we're trying to work on in the realm of inclusive excellence strategies. What that kind of means, or it does mean, is that we want all of our students to feel like they belong and they're involved and they're included in our schools. And sometimes we know that kids will act out because they don't feel like it's their school. And we have to figure out how we can do better at engaging them and letting them be a part of it. That's where the team concept with the students comes from. We ask them, what can we do in order to do that work better? We will then have additional trainings with Dr. Cleveland and his team. He has a whole group that they will tailor depending on what the feedback from our administrators is. They're going to say, these are the things we're struggling with, or these are some of the things that we're seeing, and then they're going to go and tailor trainings and bring those back to us. The behavior team that I talked about earlier will be attending an all-day training in Caldwell County through WKEC on August 22nd regarding student behavior. And keep it a little lighter, once again, we have never seen as many student behavior professional training offerings as we are seeing now. Julie gets the same ones that I get generally, and it's just a thing, and we have to be able to try to figure out how we can help our kids be more successful. Greenville Elementary next year is a pilot school for PBIS, which is Positive Behavior Intervention System. That is through WKEC as well. What that is, real quickly, is it's a team within the school made up of teachers, administrators, parents that can be involved. And we talk about how do we make our schools more successful when it comes to having students follow which rules consistently, what our consequences are going to be for those, and it really empowers the school. A lot of it talks about documentation and being able to use that data that we can input into our own systems to then analyze and say, on Thursdays at 2 o'clock in the lunchroom, what is going on? Because it seems like we're seeing a high level of behaviors at that time, if that makes sense. But it really works good because it's not just the administrators or just the teacher's job to address student behavior, it's everyone's job when you come together. And you can see this is very intensive. I printed this out on purpose. These are the trainings that myself and our behavior coach and the team will be participating in just with that one program. What we'll do then is we will share out with the rest of our schools and we'll say this is how it is and this is how it's working. You want to get involved as well. And if the schools decide that's what they want to do, then we'll bring more schools on next year or the following year. You get my point as we get into that. So overall, the results from not only the audit, but the interviews with our students were very positive. Our kids will tell us that we have schools where they feel very safe with adults who care for them. They know that if they have issues, they can report it to an adult and it will be addressed. Our kids have strategies where they've learned to deal with kids that are sometimes mean to them. They are very honest when you talk to them in those settings. They will share with you that sometimes kids just say mean things because they don't know how to fit in or they have other problems maybe that aren't associated with school. These are, fifth graders telling us this. They're very adept or very aware. And they'll also tell you that sometimes they know that kids who get in trouble for doing wrong things, punishment doesn't really change that behavior. But we are going to make sure we address every behavior that crosses the line. And that's part of the message I'm sharing with our students and that we are all sharing together. There is a line where if a student crosses it and gets into a level of bullying or harassment or racial targeting, we're going to address each and every incident. And if the student is truly remorseful and understands that what they've done is wrong and knows they won't do it again, it's a teachable moment. That's what we do. And we move on. There's not a punishment associated with every incident that comes up. But if a student doesn't feel remorseful and does not plan to change their behavior, then we're going to discipline very severely across the board until the message gets out that it's not a funny thing you're doing and that if you get caught doing it for whatever reason and you're not learning and getting better, which is why we need that data, then it's going to be a hard road for you. So that's the hard part of it. We feel more empowered the more we do it. These are not easy conversations. Some of what we're talking about is very awkward. But the more we do it and the more we collectively stay together, the better we're going to be as a group and the better we're going to be able to serve our kids. Ms. Orr, is there anything missed on that?
I think you should, in the group, you should involve more parents.
Yes.
From different, maybe some of those troubled kids' parents, not showing them that, we picked you because of that particular reason, because your son is bad. Maybe those parents,
We're hearing positives already. I've heard from parents who have shared, they've told their kid, you better not say anything because they're taking it seriously and you're going to get in a lot of trouble for it. And it's just not the kind of nice thing to do. We want our kids to be kind and nice. The more negativity that we deal with, the more negative the whole thing is. And we don't want that. We want to stay on top of it and celebrate the good things. Ms. Orr?
That's good.
All right, I'll let you part. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
And you did that?
And then roll.
I can't.
Chairman Rager, board members, month 9 began on April 15th and went through May the 10th. Enrollment for month 9 was 4,167 students, and our attendance percentage was up from last month, and that was 92.5%. Our elementary division leader for the month was Bremen Elementary School at 93.36%, and Muhlenberg North Middle School was our upper grades division leader at 92.4%. And that wraps up the attendance and enrollment for month 9.
Thank you. All right, we'll move down now to our board action items. Item A is to approve job posting for educational interpreter. Miss Kendall.
Good evening. So tonight I need to bring up this topic about educational interpreters, and I see Miss Edie out here in the crowd. She's actually one of our interpreters at South Elementary, and South Middle sometimes. But anyway, we have 2 interpreters currently in the district, and we have, for some reason, a large population of kiddos with hearing impairments. And so I wish I could get into the details about that because it's very interesting, but to protect student confidentiality, of course, in this type of setting, I won't. But I can tell you this, that our kiddos are growing and learning and really diversifying their interests and courses and things, and so we're having a very difficult time covering those students' needs as far as their interpreting that they're requiring. So because of that, our kids, actually we have one, next year we'll have one at high school, we'll have several at elementary, so we're going to have to spread them even thinner. So because of that, we do need to go on the search for an additional interpreter. We know they are hard to come by, but we do need to try and put forth a lot of effort to try to make that happen.
Any questions?
Sign language.
Oh, yes, sign language.
Oh, okay, that's what I was wondering. I said, what language we're having
Sorry,
issues?
sign language.
I was just wondering
I
here,
mentioned hard of hearing, but I wasn't clear. Sign language, yes.
Okay. That's a high-paid job, interpreter.
It is a high-paying job. Yes. And if you have kids who are interested in going into a career that would be very lucrative, we're constantly encouraging people to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. And hard to find. And they're definitely valuable. They add something that regular old person can't do.
Any other questions? I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of approving the job posting for the educational interpreter position, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. She's staying up here. Thank you. All right. Item B is to consider job posting for teacher of the visually impaired.
Yes. So we have several students in our district who also have visual impairments, and throughout, the past 10 or 12 years, we've had, some of those years we partner with Hopkins County because they actually employ a teacher of the vision impaired, and then we would pay a portion of that person's salary, so you all probably remember that. A few years ago, Hopkins County needed their own, and so we lost that ability, and then now we've had to use contracted services. And that was really the best that we could do because, again, those teachers are very difficult to come by. But so what we've done the past year and a half to 2 years is we've worked with a contracted person, and this person lives in North Carolina, and so she meets with our students on the computer. And so just as you can imagine, a student with a vision impairment may not be able to access all that they need from a teletherapy type setting. So we are working really hard to try to figure out how to grow someone in that capacity. And so this will probably be a couple-step process. The first step is to request a physician, and then that way we could continue to work toward growing that person, hopefully even within our district. And then the second step for that is if we are able to secure at least 2 other districts who are ready to partner with us. So kind of how we work with Hawkins County before we paid them a portion of that salary. Webster County and McLean County are looking to join with us to share our costs for that. So before we can do anything official, I would definitely have to come back and ask for permission.
I have a motion by Mr. Jobar. Second by Ms. Bard. All in favor of considering the job posting for teacher of visually impaired, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear that. Thank you. So we're down to item C, consider approving the MOU with Western Kentucky University. Mr. Lyle.
So as we close the 23-24 school year, personnel, we're already looking at the 24-25. Before I go into the items that deal with the 24-25, I just want to give a shout out to Ms. Kim Latham, who's already been working on processing hiring. She's doing a great job, so just wanted to give her a shout out. And so our first item is to consider the approval of the MOU with Western Kentucky University. This is our partnership with them. It is for the 2024 to 2027. This is our agreement and partnership with them to make sure that we get student teachers and practicum students and those type of students in. So this is being submitted for your approval.
I make a motion. Second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of considering the MOU with Western Kentucky University, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear that. And item D, consider bidding DOT physicals for the 24-25 school year.
Kentucky requires all school bus drivers to have their annual DOT physical, and you see the KAR there. And I recommend that the district bid Department of Transportation physicals for the 24-25 school year.
A motion by Mr. Johar. Second by Ms. Bard. All in favor of considering the DOT physical bids, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? And item E, consider the 24-25 certified evaluation plan.
And in our certified evaluation plan, really nothing new except for some name changes, and that is listed there. Just the changes that we have, the date will be changed to reflect the 24-25 school year. Jimmy Browning and myself will be listed as new members, replacing others who have either changed positions or have retired. And then we will also change where it has Muhlenberg North and South Middle Schools, and that will be worded as Muhlenberg County Middle School. So I recommend that the board approve the 24-25 certified evaluation plan.
Have a motion by Ms. Bard. Second by Ms. Wells. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And one more. Item F, consider approving the MOA with Madisonville Community College.
Yeah, so you have the attached documents, and that is the dual credit for the 24-25 school year, and this is being submitted for your approval.
I have a motion by Mr. Jobar. Second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of considering approving the MOA with Madisonville Community College, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Thank you. All right. Eric, it's your turn. Item G, second reading of policy 09.36, school-related student trips.
So, again, this is the second reading, and to increase the amount that bus drivers submit for reimbursement for meals from $5 to $10.
I thought we wanted to last time.
You have to read it twice in order to change policy.
Have a motion by Mr. Johar, and I'll second. All in favor of the second reading of policy 09.36, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Item H, consider annual KDE audit contract with Carr Riggs and Ingram.
This is the contract that we must sign between us for KDE's purposes for our annual audit. And just I would make the recommendation that we continue with Carr Riggs and Ingram. Last week I was at CASBO with many of my peers, and some of them had to bid out as of late because their auditors are dropping off and they're unable to find auditors. So it's an interesting dynamic that they can't find anyone to do their audit. So, and CRI has been very good to us, and they've helped us out when we need them. They're critical when they need to be critical, and they will absolutely listen to our side of the story as well. So not just making blanket statements that affect the audit, but we've had clean audits from them, and as I mentioned, they are critical when need be. So just staying with this firm, I would recommend we stick with them for as long as possible. Because and as well, they also rotate the junior auditors, the ones that are actually auditing those. So we don't get the same two people more than 2 years in a row. So.
Make a motion. Have a motion by Ms. Bard. Second by Mr. Johar. All in favor of considering the annual KDE audit contract with Carrings and Ingram, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And we're down to item I, and that is to consider fiscal year 25 principals combining budget.
So this is one of those perfunctory processes that we have to do that for the principal combining budget. They submit them, and this is for you all to review. And they utilize this for their SDM.
Make a motion. Second by Ms. Laura. All in favor of considering the principals combining budget, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Item J is to consider the 24-25 tentative budget.
Allotted myself 45 minutes. So just,
You did what?
I've allotted myself 45 minutes.
People
No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I'm kidding.
Carla is ordering pizza.
I thought you were giving the audit for a minute.
Carla is ordering pizza, don't worry about it. We'll have pizza party.
I couldn't resist. I'm sorry. Lord, I apologize.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt. I couldn't help it.
You're fine. You'll check out.
I'll get it back one day. So in review, we're going to do a budget considerations, revenues, and expenses review. We want to be good stewards with our funds. I know this is, I know I sound like a broken record when I say that, but I really do want the public to understand that we want to be good stewards with the money that they entrust to us. We always want to focus on recruitment and retention of our employees. You know, I think our salary schedule that we did last month was a step in the right direction for that. And as we move forward, we will absolutely continue to review that. And if it's a long-term viability, we are absolutely going to continue to provide as best increase as we can. We want to look at revenue changes over time. Fortunately, this year, there's been some seat changes that have been to our benefit now, as opposed to even when I did the draft budget. So that's something I'm going to go over. Major projects that we need that we're in the process of. I'm going to go over that list with you tonight, just in that, and then maintenance issues, which is also part of the major projects. So revenue line item notables, increases. We increased the beginning balance to 24 million. Also increased interest to 1 million. That's actually a fairly conservative number. However, as we spend money this coming year over some of those projects, I don't know where some of that interest is going to go, but we've been averaging between 140 and 160,000 a month in interest, so that's absolutely fantastic. TVA, I increased it to 6 million, so we're gonna see where that goes this year, because when they told me they were tearing things down, that money would come off and it went up, so I'm going to adjust that back up and see where the previous 2 years prior to this past year, we were at 6.2, so even if it goes back down to that, I think we'll be good on that. SEEK funding increased by about almost 3.7 million. So in the draft budget, their prediction was about 18.2 million. Well, they increased the SEEK funding this year, and we're at about 21.9 million. So that's fantastic. That helps us out. So that coupled with, as long as TVA will continue to give us good funds, we're going to try to use that to our advantage, and where we can provide more for our employees, but also be able to do the projects that we want to do and have the facilities that we want to provide. Decreases, none noted right now. So in terms of revenue, I haven't decreased anything because our taxes are fine, and SEEK is good, and so I don't think we need to decrease any of that. Should anything occur where that changes between now and September, obviously I will keep you all informed of those items. So all funds revenues, general fund is about 76 million. Now bear in mind, that includes on behalf payments, which are about 13 million. That includes funds that are going to be going into debt service and other areas. So it's not that giant, you see that big chunk, but that includes beginning balance and some of those things, of which will be funneled towards projects. So we'll be getting back down into some of our normal ranges in the next coming years. So Fund 2, if you recall, when we had all the ESSER funding, that was in the $13 to $14 million range. We're back down to our $7 million reasonable ranges here. Capital outlay, which also helps to fund debt service, about $410,000. That is basically a reflection of $100 per student. So based on our SAR that we have, the student attendance. Building fund is about $2,486,000. That goes to pay for bond payments. The nice thing, next year, our bond payments minus any new bonding is at about 1.8 million. So that more than covers that. Now granted, debt service at 3.7, but that includes some of our other things, and those will be adjusted as we start rolling the bonds off and then putting the new ones on. So that's something I'm really excited about. We won't have to do any fund transfers from our general fund to cover any bond payments. So that's a really good thing. In fact, our bonding capacity, when I took this job, was at 0. So right now, we are at about 20 million in bonding capacity. So that's something where I'm really proud of our district for the way we've bounced back from that time frame. Our food service at 6.6 million. One thing I want to note there is that KDE has said, we do have more than 3 months reserve for food service. So what we're going to be doing is re-outfitting several of our kitchens with new equipment to help spend some of that money down, which is really exciting. So they'll have all new equipment in a lot of the kitchens now. Daycare operations are at $663,000. A lot of that is due to, that still has COVID money that's in there. So normally they hover around 400,000. So that's got, you can see that. Construction right now it's set at 0 until we know where our funding source and all that. So we'll start funneling those into there right now. When I went over the balances, the construction was at about 3.2. However, that was just fund transfers and those sorts of things. But like I said, as we move into this coming year and we start doing bidding out projects and those kinds of things, that's when we'll start seeing that fund go up, and that will really be reflected in the working budget. Are there any questions to this point? Okay. So on the expense line item notables. Salary expense, we've increased it by about 7%. That covers the increase increases as well as step raises. Some of the merger expenses, we've budgeted $800,000 for furniture and then miscellaneous items for both of the schools. Vehicles are at $750,000. That includes the 4 buses that we ordered, as well as additional the truck, the work truck for transportation. And in major expenses, the funds are going to be shifted as necessary. There's approximately $14 million in major expenses, so I'm going to kind of go over those really quick with you. So at the middle school, we've got the cafeteria. I budgeted about $1.5 million. However, I feel like that's going to come in significantly less than that because it's really not as large of a project. However, just in my discussions with the architect, just because of the way construction's inflated, I just budgeted high on that one. So I firmly believe that it's going to come in well under that. Lockers for the new middle school is about $275,000. So the ones they have are kind of in disrepair. Blacktop, as we know from previous meetings, about $436,000. The field house, that's going to be out at the middle school to replace some of the old concession stand and restrooms. That's about $1.5 million. So that's something that's going to be a good thing out there, actually. And it includes locker rooms for the kids, so they aren't changing in the school. I don't know if you know the layout out there, but if they're changing in the school and having to walk across that parking lot, that's quite a trek. So we budgeted for that. Roofing, as you know, is about $2 million. As I said before, we've given the schools an allotment for furniture and other various expenses as they move. Gym HVAC is about $700,000. Playgrounds and dirt work at Longest about $277,000. And then the Longest preschool remodel, it's budget about $5.5 million. And I'm going to show you guys the plans here in a second, just so you guys can kind of see what's going on there. And then some bleachers for the Longest to get rid of some of the wooden ones that are there is about $500,000. So, and then gym floor, that's going to have to be placed in there underneath those bleachers because they're just built now. So that's kind of some of our major expenses. As we look at this right now, I'm in discussions with our bonding agent on what we're going to bond and what we're not going to bond in order to maintain good cash flow in the future. And like I said, as things rolled off on the bond payments, we're doing really well in that area. So that's something good. And then I'll go back to when we get done with this, I'll show you those plans. Decreases, we've made shifts from general funds to grant funds on any items possible. And then one thing we did is we went through any area that over the last 3 years, we've budgeted funds for, unless it's something where it's one of those items where you have to budget and say, this could happen, I've taken them off. So that's not to say that something might get spent in that category, and if it does, we'll adjust the budget going forward, but so we tried to take those items off. So general fund expenditures, salaries, about $27 million, the benefits for that, and this is general fund, mind you. Benefits about $4.4 million, that on behalf, which is the non-cash item that the state pays on behalf, is about $12.4 million. Professional technical service, $716,000. Purchase property, about $2.4 million. Other purchase service, $1 million. Supplies, about $4.5. Property is $1.2. That includes those buses in that category. Debt service and miscellaneous. I don't know why they call it debt service, but that's one of the categories that KDE calls it because it really doesn't go to serve debt service. It's just a miscellaneous category, so just I want you all to understand that. Contingency is at $21.8 million, and that's where, you'll see that decrease when we determine what items we're going to pay for with cash. So for instance, the blacktop, you'll see 400,000 come off of that just because we're going to use these funds to pay for the blacktop. And so, and again, this is where the interest that we're earning on both of our deposits and those funds invested, we're going to put that back into these things, and so some of the interest that we're earning, I'm really excited is covering about half of the salary increase. So I mean, that right there is a good thing. So, are there any questions before I get to show you the plans that we had? It wasn't quite 45. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to walk over here and kind of show you what this is. So this is, so you all can see, this is the current North Middle, right? So right there, this is where the old part, no, it's the old part of current longest is. So it will become a parking lot. So, but what we're going to do with the lower classrooms is create a Head Start area to help relieve, if you could please jump in on this, to help relieve pressure on some of the other schools in that area. So they'll have their own admin area coming in. We plan on keeping the gym at longest because it's a fairly new gym, and it also allows us to, when someone wants to rent out, it's another auxiliary gym for anyone in the district, really. So, and then, renovating the first grade and the kindergarten areas. My ignorance, I thought it was just a simple, like changing out the toilet fixtures to make them smaller. Well, there's far more involved than that. So it's pretty neat how they got what they have to do with these things. And then they're also going to be doing some playground area that's going to be in front of the school. And part of it is going to be on grade that you see, and then the other part of it is going to be sunk in, because I don't know if you're familiar, if you've been over the longest, you kind of got to step down in some places. Well, this playground here is going to be below grade with all the drainage and everything, but then we plan on having some nice looking fencing out in front, not just like chain link fencing, but some fencing to where we don't have a runner, so yes, and it provides security for the kids. And then we've also talked about landscaping being in front of some of those areas. Not so much that it will prevent like breezes to come through, so you don't want to make it so where it's confined and it's not breathable, I guess. I don't know how to say that, but breezes come through there, so it's not stuffy. But anyway, this is kind of what that part is going to be. So it morphed from just putting some bathrooms to actually making this to where it's a longer building process. In fact, as we were talking to architects today, a high school that's being built in another county that's at 217,000 square feet the bid was $84 million. So if you think about this is roughly a third of that. So I mean, you're still in the $25 million range just to build a school.
Oh, to build.
Right? No, not for this. I'm just sorry. This is preventing from the need to build additional schools. I'm sorry.
What are you talking
Sorry, I
about?
didn't mean to cause a stroke or a coronary over there. But what I'm saying is that
They don't do it.
by us doing this, it's preventing the need for an additional building or just creating a new building for the students and saving us, in the neighborhood of $15 to
thank you.
Okay, sorry. Didn't mean to
It's okay.
scare me.
I thought you were going rogue on me.
No, that's my new plan. No. So, but I showed you that because, again, doing these renovations to this is really a cost-saving measure, and it also is helping alleviate pressure on some of the schools that are at capacity at this point. So, are there questions about that? I know that, we've gone over this with the committee.
When will all this project start?
Probably midsummer. So the early bid package also is going to have some of the demolition to start on the top part in order to get like some of the things that Chad has to get network cable rerun and everything. Right now it currently goes through the middle of Longest. So trying to reroute those items and get those set up to where there's limited disruption next year. That's one of the things that we're trying to get going in like the next 3 to 4 weeks. So, and I think the folks at Longest are excited about it. So,
I talked to you earlier, they said probably July 4th after that holiday,
Yeah.
be able to start tearing.
So, and a lot of this, we're like flooring. One of the things that, it's all North Middle's, flooring that's in there. So I've even talked to our flooring contractor, and in conjunction with the architects, coordinating to make sure that we can get some of that stuff going like right away and get to change over throughout this summer, so it's not so much of a disruption.
So how big of a major work going to be done at North Middle?
Say again?
At North Middle, what do we have to do there for Longest to move?
Well, they're having to put restrooms.
The office and all that entrance, we spent all that money.
No, it's staying. That's not changing. I'm sorry. These rooms right here. Let me increase them. I'm sorry. The first grade rooms and these kindergarten rooms. You can see. Sorry. Where they're having to, these rooms require a restroom in that room. So they're taking these rooms and they're renovating them to put a restroom in there. So it's not just, you can't just have just these restrooms. Those rooms have to, by statute, have to have a restroom. So that's some of that's going on. But they have a plan in place to where really the construction's going to be on this side of the building, on the east side of the building, and so the majority of the classroom is going to be, it's going to be over
North side.
over here for the school year. Does that make sense? Okay.
We can go, we'll be fine with enough space.
So it'll be half the school pretty much?
We'll all be there.
I know, but you're going to be using only half?
No, they're going to put out about a 3-foot wall from the kindergarten rooms. We'll have access to everything in those 3 rooms.
Okay.
So it's
nothing big.
it's not near as intrusive as the cafeteria was.
Okay, got it.
So,
Okay. So you adding 3 more restrooms, you saying?
I believe there's 4 of them.
There's 3.
3, okay.
If you go back, those 2 rooms that are lighter blue beside the kindergarten, that will be combined into the 3rd kindergarten room with restroom.
Now you're talking.
I used the large print for you.
Thank you.
So that should all be done by the time school starts?
No, it's gonna go into the year.
So that small area is going
That's
to
where
go.
it's gonna be, on the one side?
Right, and it's gonna be on the
Okay.
one side, and it's gonna be to where there's access is gonna be granted, so to speak, for the first grade and all those areas. So
only group that will have to move twice. So they'll go to a temporary room on down the hall,
North side.
and when they're done,
Makes sense.
So, I wanted to show you that, and then I will briefly show you field house. So, what's gonna be put over there, which at the middle school, which I'm also pretty excited about this one too. So they're gonna have adequate storage. I just wanted to be able to give you a view here. You know, this whole area is gonna be storage here, and this is oriented, I can't really show you the orientation. It's up, I don't know if there's the gravel road, I don't know if you all have been out there. It's pretty much parallel to that road. Next to the baseball fields and the softball fields. So there's gonna be a men's restroom that's connected to the locker rooms. KDE wants you to put like showers, but we said that's silly, no one's gonna use a shower, so we actually put more restrooms in there. So we kind of bucket the system there. Told them, you know, that we're gonna do this. There's gonna be the public restrooms. We've added quite a few of them, so we could do that. There's also gonna be a concession stand that's got one side opening instead of two, so then they got the coolers, 3 sinks.
There's a men's and a women's.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. There's,
Okay.
yeah. This, now, just so you're aware, this door to the mechanical room is not gonna be, we're actually putting this on the outside wall so that they don't have to go through the women's restroom to get to the mechanical room, so. But there's gonna be water filling stations, those sorts of things out there. I think it's gonna be a good thing. So, are there any questions on that one? It's really gonna look similar to what's out at the current, at the stadium. It's right now, that's where the concession stand is. We tried to make it very similar. So, that concludes my budget.
You took more than 45 minutes.
It was only 30.
All right.
There you go.
I need a motion to consider the tentative budget.
Motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Gilmore. Second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of considering the tentative budget, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And item K is to approve the MOA between KDE and the Muhlenberg County Board of Education for thought ups for the Education Recovery Leader.
This is the KDE reimburses us, but we pay her. She works with KDE at this point.
I'll make a motion. Second by Mr. Gohar. All in favor of approving the MOA with KDE and the Board of Education for the Education Recovery Leader, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we're down to our board consent agenda items, and this is approving the minutes of the prior board meeting, considering leave of absence requests, considering emergency certification, block of up to 5 positions for teaching positions within the Muhlenberg County School District for the 24-25 school year, Martin Hall proposed public season 24-25, facilities use, and field trip requests. Everyone's had a chance to look at that in their packet. Is there any discussion on any of these items? If not, I need a motion to approve the board consent agenda items.
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion by Ms. Wells. Second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of approving the board consent agenda items, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. At this time, we need a motion to enter into closed session to discuss personnel, KRS 61.810F. And we will exit closed session and come back into open session to, just to adjourn, basically, so.
They don't have to stay.
Huh?
I was telling her, they don't,
Oh, yeah, you all don't have to stay, you're welcome to stay, but it could be a while. Chad has to stay.
You're almost done.
All right, so we are back now in open session, and we're going to present our superintendent evaluation results. For strategic leadership, which is number 1, we gave Miss Orr exemplary. Under the second one, we gave instructional leadership, we gave her exemplary. The third one is cultural leadership, we gave her exemplary. Number 4 is human resource leadership, we gave her exemplary. Under number 5, managerial leadership, we gave her exemplary. Under number 6, collaborative leadership, we gave her exemplary. And under number 7, influential leadership, we gave her accomplished. And that will conclude the results of our superintendent evaluation for Ms. Contessa Orr. Any questions? All right, if not, I will need a motion to adjourn. A motion by Mr. Bowers. Second by Ms. Bard. All in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none, and we are adjourned. Thank you.